Chapter 585, Repeated Betrayal. At a distance of just over 10 meters, the Pride armor covered the ground in two powerful strides, positioning itself in front of Ultraman Lotto Gyro. A broadsword, condensed from radiant light, slashed down with deadly precision. Lotto Gyro had a momentary opportunity to utilize his navigator ability, escape through hidden passageways in the void and dimensions, and evade the impending attack. However, the sight of the silver-white full-body armor caught him off guard. He hadn't anticipated an aggressive move before Lumion Li could even don the armor. This momentary hesitation cost him. The silver-white full-body armor, resembling a relentless steam locomotive, collided with him before he could vanish into the hidden tunnel. By then, it was too late, and the looming threat of being cleaved apart became imminent, a grim fate of upper and lower halves separated. In this dire circumstance, he was no earthworm with regenerative abilities. His fate seemed sealed. Facing the approaching silver-white armor and its raised broadsword of light, scales formed from starlight protruded from various parts of Lotto Gyro's body. The air quivered around him, as if an invisible tide were roaring, amplifying the tension. As per the intel gathered on April Fools, the power derived from the sea, without the governor of the sea's authority, corresponded to a sequence 5 at most, known as Tidal Scholar, the current state of Lotto Gyro. Enveloped by an ethereal tide, Lotto Gyro swung his fist, resembling a colossal wave crashing down. Thud! His formidable punch collided with the side of the broadsword of light, forcefully diverting its trajectory. Simultaneously, Lumion materialized behind him, left hand raised. Indeed, I knew you'd seize this chance to teleport behind me and launch a sneak attack. Lotto Gyro was ready. Evading the silver-white full-body armor's second strike, he imbued the surroundings in a warm golden hue. Purification Halo. As layers of golden light surged towards Lumion, he deftly twisted his left wrist. Even before that, the silver-white light earring on his left earlobe emitted a subtle glow, revealing various blobs of light and colors on Ultraman's body. Among them, a golden ball emitted a warm glow, the representation of the Purification Halo ability. With a flick of his wrist, the golden ball detached from Ultraman's body and swiftly flew to Lumion. Steal. Lumion successfully stole Ultraman's Purification Halo. The number of times the Ring of the Sea Queen could steal after the standard process remained unknown to Lumion. However, he was certain that Lai's stealing effect persisted for half a month, unaffected by his stealing of the sea's power. After Lai's transformation on the ancestral altar in Milo Village, Lumion diligently experimented with steal, honing his proficiency to ensure he could deploy it effectively in critical moments. Thus, he had become relatively adept at stealing and dispersing the power of the sea. Simultaneously, Ultraman's Beyonder powers of the Sun pathway were well documented by the Tarot Club's information, making Lumion fully aware of what he aimed to steal this time. With a solid foundation in mysticism knowledge, he felt prepared. However, the challenge lay in his lack of experience, stealing a priest of light's abilities. He feared that locating the corresponding symbols for Purification Halo and Holy Water creation might take too long, leaving him vulnerable to Lotto Gyro's attacks. Anticipating the Pride armor's frontal assault, Lumion strategically teleported 4 to 5 meters behind Lotto Gyro, enticing him to use Purification Halo. The distinction between the abilities Lumion used and those he refrained from was clear, providing him with instant recognition. Before initiating the teleport, he activated the Lai earring and raised his left hand, ensuring he didn't linger in the dangerous area for a moment longer. The Purification Halo, despite being stolen, persisted and continued to surge, enveloping Lumion. However, it didn't reach its intended target. A formidable formless force emanated from Lumion's body, acting as a barrier that thwarted the encroaching halo. The power of the sea. You have the power of the sea, and so do I. During the steal process, Lumion had reserved a portion of the sea's power for himself. Although not on par with Ultraman's, it proved sufficient to repel the Purification Halo for a brief moment. Calmly activating the black mark on his right shoulder, Lumion vanished from the warm golden area, teleporting to the farthest corner from Lado Gyro. The purification halo pursued relentlessly, but it reached its limit, visibly weakening. Reacting swiftly, Lumion harnessed the power of the sea once more, watching as the warm golden barrier rapidly dissipated. Meanwhile, Lado Gyro's heart skipped a beat. Intuitively, he sensed the loss of his purification halo ability, suspecting it had been stolen. Lumion Li's item with the steal effect is still operational. Lado Gyro couldn't dwell on it. Dodging the Pride armor's heavy slashes, he fell to the ground, rolling to evade the attacks. Facing the sky, he raised his right hand, clenching it. Pure and blazing sunlight condensed rapidly, forming a thick ray that struck the silver-white armor's chest. It paused momentarily, unable to penetrate, only burning and dissolving into tottering black marks. Witnessing this and recognizing Lumion Li as his adversary, Ultraman Lado Gyro entertained the idea of fleeing. He decided to disengage, cease the confrontation, and seek an escape route. At that critical moment, instead of launching a barrage of attacks, the Pride armor shifted its focus toward Lumion. Lumion, who had previously utilized Spirit World Traversal on the betrothal ship and within the hall, found himself affected once again by the purification halo. His spirituality teetered on the brink of depletion, leaving him visibly fatigued and weakened. Any ordinary human in such a state near the Pride armor would face indiscriminate attacks. Lado Gyro keenly perceived the shift in dynamics. Though unaware of the specifics, he sensed an advantage. Rising abruptly, he directed his attention to Lumion. In the next instant, the Pride armor raised its radiant broadsword and charged towards Lumion. "Haha, your sealed artifact has betrayed you." Lado Gyro mocked internally as he closed in, intending to exploit the silver-white full-body armor's attack to create Sun Holy Water and sprinkle it on Lumion Li. Undeterred, Lumion took a resolute step forward. Tapping into his ascetic powers, the accumulated strength and spirituality within his body surged, replenishing his drained spirit. His body underwent a sudden transformation, growing by 7 to 8 centimeters and bulking up by 2 sizes, causing his loosely fitting deputy host's robe to strain. The advancing Pride armor abruptly halted, pivoting to face Lado Gyro, who had followed closely. Lado Gyro's pupils contracted, and an instant heaviness enveloped his body, bringing him to a natural halt. Simultaneously, his gaze locked onto the unusually tall figure of Lumion Li. The enemy teleported right in front of him, mere inches away. Their eyes locked, reflecting each other in an intense confrontation. With a swift whoosh, Lumion swung his right hand, adorned with the flog boxing gloves, through the air. Lado Gyro's heavy state naturally exerted a suction force on his surroundings, a downgraded version of the humanoid sealed artifact's characteristic. Lumion's punch encountered no repulsion. Instead, it accelerated towards its target. Unperturbed by the close-range attacks, Lado Gyro harbored concerns about Lumion's psychic piercing ability. Unable to dodge or employ other abilities in time, he unleashed a retaliatory fist resembling 1,000 tons of seawater, causing the sound of surging tides to echo. Bang! Lado Gyro blocked Lumion's attack and swiftly rolled to the side, evading a surprise assault from the Pride armor. At that moment, a strong sense of greed surged within him, overshadowing his initial plan to escape. Seizing the opportunity, Lumion retreated and retrieved a black bone flute with red holes from his traveler's bag. Symphony of Hatred. While Lado Gyro resisted the Pride armor, Lumion brought the flute to his mouth and played a sharp, intense melody. Lado Gyro's mind buzzed, freezing him in place. Bright blood oozed from the cracks in the starlight scales on his body. Emotional detonation. The Pride armor struck Lado Gyro's shoulder, splintering scales, bone, and flesh. Closing the distance with 2 brisk strides, Lumion approached the nearly collapsed Lado Gyro, his face twisted in pain. He raised the black bone flute in his hand. In the moment that Lado Gyro used the pain from the Pride armor strike to break free from the detonated emotions, he witnessed Lumion Li thrusting the bone flute toward him with a fierce expression. The bone flute effortlessly pierced Lotto Gyro's left eye, akin to cutting through butter. The eyeball of April Fool's key member exploded, and a gruesome mix of blood and other fluids streamed out through the gaps in the black bone flute. Even if the symphony of hatred only struck an ordinary part, it was tantamount to hitting a vital point. Striking a true vital point meant either instant death or a prolonged period of social death. In this case, Lotto Gyro's left eye and brain were undeniably vital points. His remaining eye widened and protruded, life force rapidly draining as he slumped to the ground. Lumion seized Ultraman's neck, lifting him up. Releasing his right hand, which held the black bone flute, he delivered a heavy slap to Lotto Gyro's face. With a fierce expression, he growled in Intijan, "Did you go to Cordu village to confirm the situation?"